Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of Being a Sports Talk. So I got to get some videos up on the page. I haven't talked to sports a lot, and I like having opinions that I can look back in the past and be like, I actually thought that, and I have a lot of things I want to say. I'm down to record like 3 videos today because I haven't really uploaded something in like 6 days. Today's my off day, and plus tomorrow I get paid time off from my job, so that's great. Labor Day, that's a great time. That's like whatever. Anyway, so I want to talk about the Giants, the roster cuts, and kind of what I'm thinking right now. So the fact that we got rid of B.J. Hill means Dexter Lawrence is going to be a freaking beast. I initially thought, David Moa and Danny Shelton, pretty much the same thing. So Moa is going to be on the practice squad. Now, that opinion right now, I think is going to be kind of outdated depending on when I upload this because the roster cuts are today. But, like, the fact that we cut B.J. Hill is showing, like, Dexter Lawrence, like, this is time to shine. Like, we have ultimate faith in him. Leonard Williams, I think, is going to be a deadly combo. Like, that's just going to... It's going to be one of the best combos in the league. You have Aaron Donald, but no one really beside him. You have some guys that come up every single year that kind of tag team with them. But, yeah, so... that's my opinion about the whole B.J. Hill thing. As far as Billy Price, we got B.J. We gave away B.J. for a price, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so from what I hear, he's not really good in pass pro. The thing with guards, they don't need to be great. They just can't be awful. And sometimes, apparently, he leans and he's not that good. I just don't have access to film, so I can't watch him. But we are taking a lot of players now for high upside. That's what I've kind of noticed. Like Ross, high upside, runs a 4.22. Injuries, that sort of thing. Billy Price, I don't think has injuries, but he's had less than 300 snaps in 3 years. Kadarius Toney, injury scare. Good character, that's also something we like, but high upside. He has that, like, a Percy Harvin type thing. He may not be a long-term successful in the NFL, struggles with route running. We all know the deal with him. High upside with him. And there's also somebody else on this list. Like, it can't be just those two. What else am I thinking? Oh, yeah, Yadam. Yadam is a safe player, but Josh Jackson we brought in. High upside. He was a first-round, former first-round pick. We've been bringing in a lot of those guys. Now, so far it's worked. With like a Jabril Peppers, we got him in the Odell trade, bringing in just first round talent because they had the talent. Now, there's always a reason why you're not successful. Sometimes not talent, sometimes it's just personality issues. That's why we bring in high character guys. So if you have talent, you have a high personality that we think we're going to bring you in. As far as the Yadam thing, we knew what we had in him, which is good. And also, it kind of goes back to the B.J. Hill scenario, like with Williams. Rodarius Williams. Not Williams, Lawrence. But like Rodarius Williams, he's just a rookie. He's just a messy rookie. That's what he is right now. He's 24, so he's older than his brother, I think, Greedy Williams, who got drafted the year before him, or 2 years before him. But like he's just really sloppy, and he has to learn the NFL ways in a way. He needs to learn his form and different things like that. He is just. Or you just watch, you're like, you can just see the potential in him. You can just see, like, he's a hard worker. And that's what the Giants like in him. Like, he lets up a lot of, tackles and stuff like that. Well, a lot of receptions. What am I saying? He lets up a lot of receptions. But overall, he's like a sound player. He did get his head around versus the Patriots barely in time. But I think they see so much potential in him that they're like, yeah, let's keep him. Let's get rid of Yadam. Let's bring another high upside guy because we know what we have in him. We just swap for swap. We only give up a 7th round pick for him. And talk about accumulating 7th round picks. I think we got another one in the Billy Price trade. Like, we are just stacking up these 7th round picks because we're good at those picks. I don't like the Gary Brightwell thing, but honestly, we've hit more in like the later rounds than we did in like rounds 3 through 4. I mean, Matt Parrott, I like that pick, but Man. I don't. By the way, I don't want to talk about Andrew Thomas. I'll say this. I think we're overcoaching him. Just let Thomas be Thomas. I saw a comment on him the other day, so I can't take full credit for it. I'm like, that's so true. Let freaking Thomas be Thomas. Stop saying you need to do your sets. Just give 3 weeks and just don't say anything. Let him watch the film. I think he's a high character guy. He's a high level guy. He stood up there and took the criticism. Just let Thomas be Thomas, baby. I think that's what you got to do. But going back to the Rodarius Williams thing, I kind of lost my train of thought. We're bringing him just for high upside. Boy, in those picks later in the draft, Carter Coughlin. I mean, Chris Williamson and the other pick we kind of knew right away, which is like, okay. But the Cam Brown, Tay Crowder, look at those good 6th, 7th round picks. I'm not too high on Gregory Brightwell, but the 3rd, 4th round guys. Apparently, Darnay Holmes is not having a good training camp, which is kind of upsetting. Hopefully, Aaron Robinson can fill in just fine, but I'm not too high on him. Overall, like the mid-round picks, we haven't really hit on. So maybe there's just like, let's just get a bunch of 7th rounders, and they trust their scouting more this year because the whole COVID thing. They trust their scouting more this year to be successful. Now, I like people. I can't really have that much depth football conversation. They just like talk for years and years about stuff. I like getting into the nitty gritty of it. People I can watch. I like the entertainer, but you can talk about like one thing for like 4 minutes. I'm like, especially now because I haven't uploaded in a while. It's like, how do people talk about the same topic for so long? They're like speaking in circles. Sometimes like in a football podcast, it's just like, they got that off that topic really quickly. Like I want to hear what they're saying more because sometimes you miss things because you're paying attention to other things. But I'm like, they spent that thing on the topic. I pretty much nailed every single thing I had on my list. Every single player. I had my roster projection just for the fun of it. I did have a BNA Sports Talk episode 500 that, man, I've just been kind of lazy with, to be honest, because I don't really like uploading BNA Sports Talk anymore. I kind of like found my format. Let's see. Well, first of all, I'm gonna see what I have else written on my list. Trade for upside. Oh yeah, and then just talking about training camp and Jason Garrett. Maybe Jason Garrett knows what he's doing by not having deep concepts. Just think about that. Well, Glennon comes in, all of a sudden they have deep concepts. Maybe he knows what he's doing. Maybe it's the whole Galladay thing. But like Jason Garrett is not just gonna like not call that. He knows what he's doing. Let's just say that. He's kind of an old school type play caller, but we saw some creative things. I think this year we're gonna focus on players making the plays more than Daniel Jones. Because we have that sort of talent. Like one guy, I can go down. Like, we saw Rudolph, Kane Smith, who we really like. And by the way, I called my shot in Griffin Stewart. People are like, who's this Griffin Stewart guy? I'm like, yeah, I told you about him. I feel pretty good about that. I saw, I don't know what he really offers in the blocking game just yet, but I saw a couple of plays like, hey, he can hold his own. And then, about Jason Garrett, just a little bit more. I had one more point on him. Jason Garrett, he doesn't want Daniel Jones to throw interceptions. He said that to Colin Cowherd, and we saw Daniel Jones can make the big mistake, so we're trying to limit that big mistake while still having Daniel Jones learn. It's always going to be there, but Patrick Mahomes has it. We saw in the preseason, he's still chucking up. He thinks he can make every single throw, but I think Jason's trying to make sure Daniel Jones, make sure he knows what he doesn't know, and apparently they have a good rapport. So they're not just not having deep concepts, because Jason Garrett's stupid. He's an NFL coach. I don't think he's incompetent. He's been around for a while. He's not like he's not one of these Joe Schmoes that come around and don't know anything about football. And then my final roster projections, Glennon, Jones, obviously. Then I have Penny, Clement, Booker. I think there could be a little bit of surprise there. And then Saquon, obviously, who's going to start probably week 2. Maybe I think they're going to ramp him up for week 2 and that's a big game. So they're going to want him to be good for that. They don't want him to come up the first game sore. So that's my opinion about that, even though you didn't really ask for it. And then for wide receivers, obviously you have the classic 4. Then, man, this is tough. They're apparently looking for trades for Sills, Pettis, whatever. I think one of those two makes it to the roster. And then you were rounding it out with Tony and those players like that. And then when we go into the offensive line, I think Brett Hagee is going to be on the practice squad. And then kind of the classic, you have the starting 5 offensive linemen, Solder. Just a brief overview of that. I think my biggest opinion is Odenigbo not making the roster. I don't really have that many surprises. So pretty much everybody you have. And then I think Moa sneaks on. Because we kind of like our defensive tackles. And we got rid of BJ Hill, so focus on that run stuffing. So those are some of my opinions about the roster. But yeah, hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.